this thing myself and then figure out a way that the board can pay me back even on time to do it. And Jason, you suggested that I give it to Barney. Barney says he has no authorization for the board to proceed, so it ends up going nowhere.
Well,
And it's been 2 years of this, and I just would like some sort of commitment from the board to at least address this issue and have a conversation about it.
yeah, that's not good, and I remember some confusion at one, I remember two iterations of this issue. And what you just described was the option that I thought ought to be workable. And I'm really sorry that it stayed there, because I don't see any problem with approving such a thing, given that we already have a standing policy of replacing a certain number of decks every year, so this is budgeted. All we would have to do is, I think if someone puts out their own money to do a deck, that gives me, I think, reasonable grounds to recommend that the board put them ahead on the rotation the next time we are budgeting for the next year's deck work. Something that we did every year up until the sky fell. So, would you, my email is my name separated by periods, Colorado.edu. Would you email me this week so I can get that going?
Thank you.
And can I have your billing unit, please?
3300, 304.
304, thank you.
Okay, and Jackie.
I'm building 3365, number 204. I'm just reading a letter that I sent in on September 30th, and since I hadn't heard anything back, I want to make sure that this gets heard. My request for information of August 14th had not received a satisfactory response, so I'm sending in this letter now. Please find and close 5 money orders totaling $4,100 in payment of the special assessment invoiced on September 1st, 2012. However, please note that these money orders are unsigned. This is because I am not comfortable with handing over too much salary without very clear and detailed understanding of where the money I have already paid the HOA has gone. I will come over to the clubhouse and sign these money orders once I have received 2 things. 1, copies of all of the bank statements for all of the HOA bank accounts for the last 5 years, with information identifying specific homeowners and association employees, appropriately redacted to protect their privacy, and a detailed list of all contracts the Remington Post Homeowners Association is currently party to, with complete details as to dates signed and terms of the contracts, or a convincing, to me, explanation of why this information cannot be made available, referencing Colorado state law and or the Remington Post bylaws on paper and in writing, signed by Jason Potter and Lynn Chambers. Thank you.
Comments?
Well, I apologize for not answering her, but I just felt that was out of my hands and needed to go to the board.
Well, we have an audit performed each year, and I believe that we're certainly happy to share the results of that audit.
And I have that information. Yeah, no, I want to see the information in detail. I want to see where the money has gone in a very specific fashion.
And you're legally obligated to provide this.
That's correct.
It is true.
I have no problem making this information available. The only problem with what you're saying, Jackie, is that you're not actually legally allowed to withhold payment in order to get this thing that you want.
You have the payment.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
You don't need to do that. And
And the reason I went this route is because over the past couple of months, we've been trying to get more specific information and getting crickets. And so I wanted to kind of make a point.
I mean, I think I can't speak for everybody who's been involved in trying to gather information and deal with all the many issues we've been dealing with in the last several months. And there was a lot going on before all of you woke up. So we've been busy with those things too. It's not a criticism, but that's just a fact. So, and it's gotten busier for all of us as the assessment came online, and then all these additional things started to be happening, all of which I'm pretty happy about myself. We just haven't had time to put that information together, and we will. And as soon as a couple of other things that I know have been holding Barney up are handled. I'm gonna expect him to be able to put the bookkeeper on getting this information available to you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
Deadline?
we can't, I don't know how to give you a deadline. We've got enough other deadlines. Barney, I'll get back, you and I are
Okay.
talking all the time anyway.
Mhm.
Let's keep an eye on this, and I'll try to get this to you as soon as I can, but as you know, these things that we're gonna be talking about later are gonna take a lot of my time. I do wanna get some things from the bookkeeper myself, relevant to the assessment, and until I talk to her and find out how quickly she can get, how much information she's got. So that's really the, I can't give you a deadline until I'm in a position to know what, but I'm happy, I think within a month, I don't see any reason why we can't do this before next board meeting.
Good, thank you.
So, okay, so then what's the next thing on here? So thank you all.
Yeah,
Okay, I guess it's me. I'm gonna be pretty brief, uncharacteristically concise, but I'm gonna read this just because otherwise we'll forget things. Shortly, we're gonna be hearing from the subcommittee on property management, on the property management option, which has produced 2 model templates and a general description of each that will be submitted for bids to companies either already contacted by the members of that subcommittee or by those on the board. We will vote on whether to pursue that process today. If approved, the timetable is listed on this separate sheet, and I think actually this is something that I neglected to bring, but yeah, I did. So what am I gonna say about this? I don't think there's any reason that, anyone who wants to see this timetable, I can send it to you by email, okay? I'm gonna actually be, when we get to the subcommittee report, I'm gonna give you the timetable verbally.
I also have a graphical calendar that anybody can have if they want.
Oh, that would be great, yeah. And in fact, we should probably, I don't know, maybe we should actually get a calendar that we're all using, like a Google Calendar or something for tracking all the different parts of this as we go forward. But anyway, so that is going to be discussed today. And I'm pretty optimistic that we've got a good basis to go ahead looking for bids for alternative ways of managing the property. The siding contract was to have been signed by now, but we're holding it up while we make sure that the company that's providing the siding, which is providing an insulation option, is doing it in a way that is consistent with Excel's requirements so that they can offer rebates to those who do this. And I want to make sure about that, and we're talking to the people who know about the rebate and those requirements. And I expect that we'll be meeting with Platte River, the vendor, next week. We are conducting some sort of spot smart regs inspections to try to get better informed about the state of our buildings and the requirements of smart regs. And I'll be updating you about that next month. We're having the inspections done within the next week or 10 days. Then I'm going to meet with a person who advises people about smart regs. I think
John approved your Poplis.
Yeah, he's not an inspector. He's got
Poplis was hired by the city of Boulder to advise on smart.
to advise. He's an advisor, and we're going to get advice from him. And I guess the final thing is that this process of assessing, I just want to emphasize personally that the process of going forward, seeking out and assessing bids is going to be a very time-consuming process, and it is arguably, in my opinion at least, the most important thing that this board has had before it since I've been on the board. And we don't want to mess it up. We don't want to be sloppy, and we don't want to rush it. We don't want to put it all on one person's shoulders. And as Matt was pointing out to me earlier today on an email, this is too often in regard to strategic planning been a one-trick pony. And I plead guilty to acceding to that situation often because it was faster to do it than to try to delegate and find people to delegate and train them up so that they can be delegated and so on. But we're gonna have to do delegating, and more members of the board are gonna have to be involved in this next step than have been involved so far, and I don't fault you for not being more involved so far. This next stage is gonna be time consuming. We need to be going out and interviewing people who are on the boards of places that are being managed by people we're considering, homeowners who live in those places, vendors who work with them. I mean, it's gonna be a hell of a task and much bigger even than the biggest thing I did before, which was, interviewing people for Barney's job back when Carol left. So that's all I had for my report.
We have 2 months of minutes. We should please approve them. That's the only reason they haven't been on the site. I can't put them up on public. The board approves it. The board refuses to approve them by email.
September and August.
Hmm. Well, we don't see two. Is there a second one
It's on the
somewhere?
very back section.
September and August.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're missing like 2 pages.
Oh, there it is. I
Yeah.
found it.
Oh, here's August.
So do we have a motion on the first set of minutes or comments? Anybody see anything?
I move that we accept the August 16th Board of Managers meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay? Passes unanimously, that one's done. Okay, second one. Let's quickly try to look through it.
Jason's name is right.
That was an approval in August.
Yeah, I've got that.
Move to amend the spelling of my name.
Well, I'm good. Yeah, but this isn't new, right? Where was that?
Third, the final page
Yeah,
of these minutes.
Sonnen.
Yeah, it's correct in the open positions in HOA, but then in 2055,
There's
it's
an admin
Sunny
there?
Born.
My name is also incorrect, if it matters. Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I will be Jeff.
You will be Sunny Born. That's
Exactly.
funny. Double N, E.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm gonna just resend them to you guys and say this is going public. I'll try to remember those,
Those,
and then we'll put them on the web.
great girl.
Second,
Yes.
thank you.
Got it. Okay, so
I motion that we approve the minutes once we correct the new board members' names.
approved with the
Second,
correction. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay? The ayes have it.
Second set.
What?
First, the different models.
Right, and you're gonna give me
Second set.
the
Might wanna write it down.
extras once you get them.
Second.
And then we pass those around to everybody who wants to look at
That
it.
cover letter kind of applies to both sets. Second set.
Okay,
Extra copies of second set.
I just need to do a little collating. Probably they couldn't staple it, so. Anyone in the room would like to have a copy of this model, these templates? We have hard copies here for you. Would you pass that down the scene?
I think that's one set, is that correct?